Role playing through the morning, role playing through the evening time, role playing through the break of dawn. Just give me good role play. Role playing through the morning, role playing through the evening time, role playing through the break of dawn. Just give me. Fuck that shit. Yo, this is the takeover 3.0. Once again, I'm back. Don't be alarmed. It's the Pharaoh still. Okay, first of all, for people who are like, what is he talking about? CoTh Cast is a podcast basically that pertains to the server. Just information that everybody could use. Try to keep us together. It's all on the forums for real. That's all I'm looking through. But I'm trying to get all the information together in one little spot. A little easier for you. First of all, it's one of the summer months. Shout out to July. I want to say welcome to all of the new players. I'm seeing a lot of blue names on the forums. That's what's up. I hope you enjoy yourself. Hope you stay after your time kind of gets a little busy, whether it's school, work, children, what have you. Just a couple of things. Two new players. I know a lot of people role play before, but they just come from different mediums, if you will. I know there's one thing that I see a lot, and it's personal pet peeve, but I know that a lot of people on the server feel the same way, if you will. Out of character chat. I don't I don't want to say I like personally me, but I will just for this point. I'll be the bad guy for this. It's not really necessary to have out of character chat and say at all, really. To me, it kind of ruins immersion. And I know that the parentheses are supposed to signify it, but it kind of gets cluttered, especially if somebody wants to respond to things like that. So the best way to do it is to just say whatever you have to say in general. It's a cool thing to just keep in mind. Without further ado, or adieu, or whatever, let's just begin. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the personals first. I think this is, you can look it up on the forums any way you want to. Basically, these are just people that, are doing things on the server that, are looking for help. And I think that these are a good way if you're ever finding yourself in some stagnant RP or just don't really know what to jump into. Answering some of these personals is a good way to get involved. A lot of things that they will say, and I'll just be up front because it's honest, they will say that, or people have said, that there are cliques, if you will. If you're not familiar with the term, basically just a group of people kind of shut in and keep their, in this sense, RP only to themselves. Now that does happen just because, people are friends, they're going to gravitate towards people that they have similar interests with. Time zones is a big thing. But a lot of these perceived cliques aren't so exclusive as they seem. And I think that one step to really kind of bridging this gap, getting over this whole mentality of these cliques, which do exist, honestly, is to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? When somebody actually has something, hey, I need some help with this character or this character. Sometimes these characters may not be your first choice, but sometimes these just random events can come to make some real beautiful RP in a really fun, kind of creative way. I experienced it recently myself. I'll get into it a little later, but first off the top, we got Frostbrand in need of help, started by one of our GMs, Clovis. In the last CoTh Cast, I spoke about the Frostbrands in high regard. It was before they restarted. I did so because back in the day when they first were created, they just took over the server, similar to now, and just had a lot of great role play. It kind of rippled across the server. Even if you weren't in the guild, you felt their presence, which is a strong thing to do. Basically, Clovis here is just saying that there's a great turnout during the guild events, but it's kind of lacking and the he uses the term idle RP, which I would agree with as far as just sailing. Your characters meeting each other, character development, and those things are very strong. And sometimes talked down about. I've talked down about idle RP moments. Just because I really like really I don't know. I don't want to say flashy, but just sometimes over the top, boisterous type things. But you need that idle RP, that character development, so when these characters are put on the line, there's depth there. You know what I mean? So he's just saying that if anybody really wanted to help with that, maybe use some of these times to gather some people together and maybe run some events to just keep the interest and add to the new flavor of role play, if you will. I know that he's co-running the guild, I believe, with Rosencrantz, which is a fucking awesome team. So you can't go wrong there, really. And I know that the interest is huge. The guild post blew up. I've seen them shut down the server multiple times, and I just nothing but good feedback. And he's saying, please PM him. This is Clovis, Clovis, with your ideas, and he'll get back to you ASAP. I'm not sure if he's found what he's looking for, but this post is relatively recent. Started July 5th. So, if you have some ideas, you like nautical RP or Marines, and I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe there is a kind of like Alliance and Horde side flip to it, which I think is new. I think last time it was just Alliance. I'm not sure though. Maybe it was cross faction. But cool thing to try out if you're interested in Marines or anything like that. Rosencrantz has one, Journalist Wanted. This is another, I believe, recent post, relatively probably about almost a month old. I'm not sure if there has been any movement on this, or if there's a thread that I just might have missed it. If I have, then I apologize. Basically, they're trying to, or she's proposing like a periodical for the server in character. 6 journalists, 3 Horde, 3 Alliance. Um, Characters who are unaffiliated with guilds are a requirement, as in character. We don't want any conflicts of interest. Which makes sense. So, just basically a in character telling of, I guess, what's going on in the world, probably to get the word out for certain things, foreshadow events and things like that, but also for a lot of people who enjoy writing and just a cool creative aspect. I think it's a really great idea. I wanted to sign up myself, but around the time this was posted, I wasn't sure of my activity. But yeah, I would most definitely recommend that. See what else we got. We got Help One. This is by Imagination. She wants medical assistance. There's an in-character letter by Dr. Dino, which is a interesting character I enjoy seeing. Um, just very believable. Not really anything that's like forcing to take or anything, and it's just really kind of got like a cult following, if you will, as far as the character is concerned. Um, Imagination art already has like a whole bunch of amazing pictures up there, but quite a few she has Dino shown. Just a interesting is all. Let's see what else is there. Trying to keep moving on this is all, because last one got kind of lengthy, and I could talk about CoTh all day for real. So I'm just trying to, yeah, just to keep it moving. Yeah, so it says, I am seeking assistance in anyone who can provide orthopedic or any other medical expertise, healing magic of any and all kinds, and engineers with knowledge of the humanoid anatomy. Surgery cannot be planned or performed as long as I do not have the knowledge or help, as the risks could be potentially fatal. So that's cool to get into some, shit like that. Maybe you like house, or you got a, healer, a lot of healing priests I see out there, and or paladins, things like that, and really don't get to do anything outside of healing some guy who got out of a fight or into a fight, something like that. So maybe this will be a cool outlet for you. It's always something to think about. Another thing I saw on the forums yesterday, I was pretty surprised about. Excuse me. It's called "Villains Are Us" by Rosencrantz. Basically, she is putting up a certain, I think like 5 characters up there that she's offering, to, I guess, be a villain or antagonist in their story, which is an extremely great offer. Especially if there's a lot of guilds out there that have a lot of good momentum going, but just don't really have a strong antagonist. And really, any story needs a an antagonist, whether it's theoretical or a person, just because they need something to either keep them on their toes, what's the word I'm looking for? Conflict, to bring conflict, or just something to battle. Every good hero has a villain, and I think Rosencrantz plays some awesome ass villains, and that's just my fucking personal opinion. One of my favorite moments, I say, Jadeo was being a typical snake like he is. Made friends with Navarin and Phalathori. They were two uh, very large Caldori demon hunters, and Rosencrantz had this sweet ass character named Mariana Bison. It was a fucking fellsworn, had wings and shit. It was great. Anyway, so he did a deal with Astis, a necromancer, and they were in this place in Ravenhill. And just the way that Bison showed up, presented herself, and just characterized, or was characterized, was just perfect villain. I want to recite this emote. There's several actually, but you just had to be there. It was fucking sweet. So yeah, rent, or I'm sorry, Villains Are Us. Look that shit up. Also, we got I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know how to say this. Ozwees. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Ozewse. It's got a pretty detailed personal from picking from, I think, almost every race, both Alliance and Horde. So, I mean, that's why you can at least have some flexibility with who you want to add to the little story. Says that all it requires is a simple description containing characters, limitations, pertinent history, main motives, and he can create and find a character for you. So it seems like he's really trying to work with you. So that's cool. Yeah, check this character out, or this player. Try to get something new. I know it's hard to meet people on the server, but one thing that you got to realize is even though everybody does have their own interests and kind of style, we're all just here for the same reason. And I think that if you poke somebody long enough, that they'll be like, hey, yeah, I like that idea too, for lack of a better term. Flipping over to server news, just in case you knew or didn't see it, letting you know. First thing, no hacks jokes. No, I'm curious if this means you can't say no roll hacks either, because that was funny. But I can understand if they're like, I don't even want it in the air. I guess there was an issue, and I have no clue, so I'm just speaking off what I skimmed through. And, somebody was talking about hacking the server, which just ain't cool. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Even, just don't even go there for real, because people just trying to have a good time for real. So, I think maybe there were people who were either joking about it or trying to do that, but I mean, that's just not necessary. And I can understand why they don't want nobody joking around or talking about that anymore, because you never know who's serious and who's not, and that's just a lot of stress. I always say on the forums, and I'm just honest about it. I don't even know how you run a server, so I mean, props to credit to whatever you do. But I don't think that he really needs to go through whatever he has to do to set things up, keep it moving, do these updates, listen to us, and then have to investigate if somebody's gonna fuck his shit up because of that. Excuse my language, but still, it's just chill out, people. They moved the OOC area to Shatterspear Village, which is cool, because when I came here, shit, 2 years ago, that's what it was. I'm not sure if they've had another one besides that. I know that they went to the battleground and then GM Island and then the cave in Hajel, but I'm not sure if before that it was something else. But yeah, Shatterspear is cool. You get to use your mounts again, so that's better. Everything's a little more confined. Once you find everything, it's cool. And they set up like a obstacle course there over the water, which I don't even know how to start. They had one before, and I got to the top. It was like a, I don't know, like, no, I'm not sure if that one was the cake, but it was some, it's just funny stuff to do when you're bored or waiting for somebody. I saw Bavel put up. This isn't necessarily really server news, but I saw it on there. Bavel has a store. It's a forum that says Janae. Let me look it up. I got it right here. Janae RP. What do you want from it? Um, he has a storyline called the Janae Pilgrimage, which is to me one of the closest party feels that I've had, similar to like maybe a D&D kind of party, because the characters were very close knit and displayed in more of a realistic fashion. Now, there's this big ongoing battle, I think, or debate at least, over the server as far as what is real to Warcraft, because it's fantasy, medieval fantasy, not just medieval, where medieval would be something along the lines of, I want to say Tolkien, even though there was obviously fantasy, but then you have stuff like Warcraft, which is just sometimes outright ridiculous, and I think that there's always that basis of, I guess, what people would be doing. Anyway, I'm bringing this point up because in the Janae Pilgrimage, it's different how it's displayed, where movement really takes considerable amount of time. He doesn't prohibit, but likes to keep teleportation at a minimum, which is an interesting feel. I enjoy it. I don't always keep to it on my own RP, just because sometimes I just kind of want to see what's going on over here. I hate to be that way, but it's just being honest. And I think using magic to inhibit, or not inhibit, but lost the word. I know you guys are all saying it, but I can't think of it. But using magic to help your RP is cool. I think that that's what you should always be able to do, as long as it's not making you OP or anything. But it's like, how'd you get here? Well, this guy ported me here. And if it's not like, I'm here Thursday and then walking over there Tuesday and 2 minutes here, don't get excessive. But I saw Creddle had I think it was a signature at one point, or maybe he just said something where you should really take your character and try to think of reasons for them to be in a place instead of reasons why they can't. Try to, and I think that that's a great idea. Some people disagree, but I really feel that if the RP is here and you want to RP and you want your character to be there, you should be able to be creative enough to figure out a reason why. Now, sometimes if your character is like, I'm a sentinel, I'm not leaving Ashenvale, then that makes sense. Then you should try to maybe make an alt, just to be able to experience what other people have, and not so much complain that you're stuck here, because you drive your story, not your characters. Anyway, wow. The Janae Pilgrim, or he said, what do you want from Janae RP? My answer is my answer, which I'll probably post on the forums, but I think that it's something a lot of people should go check out. Put your little 2 cents in. And I don't mean that condescendingly. What's next? I'm gonna be real, CoTh. I mean, honest. This is my favorite part. Server statistics. I'm still surprised that we have this. I think it's a interesting idea. Okay. Conquest of the Horde. Last 24 hours, we had more Horde characters. 52.7%. Last 48, still Horde. It was close that time, though. That's alright. Last 7 days, that's a week. Horde. This is Conquest of the Horde until you look at the total players. And it's Horde 2,103 with Alliance 2,198. Wins with 51.1%. That's still surprising to me. I mean, there's a lot of blood elves. There's a lot of humans too, but still. But this is character by race. Top three are human with 1,114, blood elf with 940, and night elf and undead are extremely close. 389 for the night elves and 361 with the undead. I gotta say, this spike in undead. Oh, excuse me, my bad. Orc is actually has more than undead with 367. That's good. This spike in undead has to be because of Black Harvest. It's got to be a piece of that. Obviously, it's not 361 big, but man, I've seen a lot more Forsaken lately. Most class warrior, pretty versatile class. Second is rogue. Surprised. 592. I don't have a rogue. Third's mage. I got one of those. 517. Let's see. The lowest is druid, probably because of the only two races. Shaman. Wow, there's more shaman than death knights now. That's cool. Everybody keeps cracking on death knights. Character shared by level. Meh. Most are 1 to 9. Interesting stuff though. Going to the guilds. Also, gotta say it again, this isn't like a competition, favoritism thing or anything like that. It's just like for real, if you are in the server, new to it, it's the summertime, you want to just get into some RP, you don't really know which guild to look for. There are some guilds out here that you can join that also have a lot of RP with them. And, you know, something that you can hop into, you know, develop your character and have fun with other characters. Get to know people on the server. I'm just going to do the top 5. I'm going to start at number 5, the Inferno of the Redekin. They're like a group of assassins, family of assassins actually. And it was just like I said earlier, where I think the guild leader is a character named Vine by a player named Stompkins, and me and Stompkins have had some RP before. Shout out to Stompy, and she said that, you know, she wanted me to make this character. Or I said actually I was RPing with her on Judeo, and I was like, man, I really want to get into this guild, sweet. So I was asking her what family members I could make. So I made her mom. And that's just been some really cool ass RP. It reminds me of like back in the day where you always had those guilds that kind of spurred up. Just everybody was on all the time, and you just went around and did some fun, cool stuff. And I really recommend it. Inferno of the Redekin. Number 4, Frostbrand Expedition. This one, what we were just talking about, kind of like the Frostbrand Marines, just great nautical RP, and I see, just like I said on that thread that he has, you know, there's opening to really kind of put your twist into it and get some cool moments going with, you know, pretty large guild on the server. 43 members. Inferno had 36. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people involved in always having events. It's a storyline. What more can you ask for? That's all I can really say. You know, look it up. It's on the it's probably, I guarantee, it has a guild post. Probably got a couple. I know there's a couple events. Just check it out. Argent Crusade, guild leader Krillari. Frostband Expedition here, it says Moriok. I'm assuming that's the Horde. I want to say Rosencrantz, which I believe. Not positive though, so if it's somebody else, my bad. But I want to say it's Rosencrantz, so that's what I thought. Actually, the Argent Crusade and the Frostbrand are actually tied with 43. The Argent Crusade just had a. You can look it up on the last CoTh Cast. Really, did some dynamic things on the server, and it was just a very fun ride for a lot of people. And you can go to multiple events, and you'll see a couple people just sprinkled. They got their tabards on, guild tag strong. So I mean, it's still active, and just really cool. The Argent Crusade is part of Warcraft lore, and you can be a little part of that. And I think that that's always a cool thing to have. Glad that they did that. Number two, Blades of the Silver Fang by Rubera, and I know Sachiko Leiron co-runs it too. I believe they got 44 members, and they're a noble house, blood elven, and just all around sweet too. They've had some pretty cool action, conflict, mystery, and there's even some romance in there. And Leiron and most of the Silver Fangs are pretty mellow and neutral, so they get along with everybody. But they do have some enemies, and they've dealt with before. But they have more allies, and I think that that's a cool thing to get involved with the Blades. Is you'll probably meet a lot of cool, interesting characters along the way, regardless of what you guys do. And Sachiko's a funny ass RPer, so you're bound to laugh. Check out her comic book thing, which is super hilarious. I don't even know how she even does that, but you gotta check that out as well. Uh, Number one, guild on the server. This, and like I said, it's not. I don't mean number one guild as in it's the best or it's. Well, it is the largest, but you know what I mean. It's personal biased. Just because I remember, I already said it before, Jared Richter's awesome. But anyways, Saul's Jared Richter for Black Harvest, 84 members, Forsaken Guild, blows my mind. Jackie Chan picture, insert. Just, I don't, like, and then the event's still going on. Activity is just ridiculous. It's awesome. There's a great guild post for it. Check it out. The Black Harvest. They're a sect of the Forgotten Shadow, cult of the Forgotten Shadow, um, loyalists. No pun intended. Deathly loyal to Lady Sylvanas, and they're all badass and will fuck shit up. So if you're trying to be a cool ass Forsaken who beats stuff up, then I know it's way deeper than that. I'm not even gonna try to make it seem like it's just a combat thing. Look it up. There's a very great storyline involved with it, but just captivating RP. But they're awesome too. That's just all I'm saying. Last thing I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna be real brief, is something I saw in the event planning thread. Northwind. This looks fucking sweet. Uh, I'm not sure if it's filled though. I know from what I see, from what it appears to be to me, is something along the lines of survival horror RP. And it says that they're fully non-combat events. Combat is highly discouraged in an in-character sense in almost all situations. If anything does occur, there will be no rolls and will run entirely off of trust. Highly interactive setting. I think basically he's going to run you through a scenario, and it's going to be him as in Wrigley. And I think he may be puppeting things, leaving you clues or something like that. It says he might poke from a lot of every type of survival horror medium. So this might be cool. I see there's already 16 people that are signed up. I just saw this today. Dragon Mad is too happy he's first. Captain Rob like hell yeah too. But yeah, I think that I'm not sure if there's a cap on it though. But excuse me, but if there isn't, check it out. I'm hoping that there's going to be a post or something to see maybe the experiences of others. Seems like a very interesting concept, something I've never seen before. And Wrigley's a very
bright individual, and you can tell. And I think that when he really focuses on something, it becomes incredible. I know that I've seen him in the past say, he was bored, and this says that he's very excited about the turnout. So I predict awesome. Also, I had like a Pharaoh's Corner that I made around the same time. I think like maybe 2, 3 days after I made the first CoTh Cast. I never posted it for some reason. I think I'm gonna put that out. So I guess just a heads up for that. I hope that this was helpful, and informational. If there's any feedback or comments, questions, things you want to talk about, things you want me to talk to you, I'm trying to figure out a way to interview people. I think that would be very funny. They did that in the Cressy and Helvet song in the previous CoTh Cast. Interviewed people. They might have done it in the first one too, but I'm not sure. So I think that that would be cool to try. And try to keep these short. I know this is probably really long, but take it easy, y'all. Oh, also, who can name the shameful parody song that I did in the beginning? Came out in the 90s. They're like, what?